Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video we are going to look at a couple of products from the company Aimwin. Now Aimwin is a company who I saw at SHOT Show 2025. I met the guys at the booth, took a look at their products, and we've been going back and forth ever since. Here today, we are going to look at a couple of their open reflex sights, the PN320 and PN330. So the PN320, based upon the RMR footprint, and the PN330, based upon the RMSC footprint. Now, both of these are red dots. Keep in mind the fact that at this point, not only do they have the PN320, which is the red dot, but they also have the PN120, which is the green dot version. This company is basically brand new. I mean, these are the new guys to the market. So what we're going to do today, again, looking at these open reflex sights, we're going to take today's video as kind of a first look and impression, get an overall look at these, see the general quality, take a look at the overall features, and then in the future, more in-depth review on each one of these as I get them mounted up to my handguns, get them out to the range, do some of the practical field testing, and get some feedback to the company. So again, today, really more of that first look and impression. And so with that said, I have a whole bunch to do and a whole bunch to share with you. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor, stay tuned. Now, before we get too far, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Aimwin who did provide these for review. And if you like what you see here today, take a look at Aimwin. They have a number of products, not just these open reflex sights, but they're working on their catalog. They have a nice number of offerings here. Some open reflex sights, some closed reflex sights, so the enclosed reflex sights here, more suitable, obviously for potentially for pistol, but really for rifle, in my opinion. These would work out very well. They are kind of, and I guess I'm going to say, co-branding a little bit with another well-known light maker to make their weapon lights. So these are not their own sort of brand of products, but rather these are manufactured for Aimwin by another well-made company. I'm not going to get into who the OEM is there, but I'm going to kind of skirt around that just a little bit. But you can see they have holsters and adapter plates and all kinds of really great offerings here for a very young company, and a company that I'm hoping we're going to see has quality products. Now, as we get into these, what I can tell you is Aimwin is going to stand behind their products. They're kind of already talking a little bit about their, I guess, what I'm going to say, claim to warranty and service, and standing behind their products and making sure that their customers are happy. And if people kind of beat up on their optics and have damage, as an early company, they're going to warranty these and really learn what's working and not working and make changes and take the user feedback to make improvements to their future products. And I appreciate that right away about Aimwin. I think that's really cool. And the fact that that's the way they're talking early on, that's a good sign. So as we look at all of the features here, just getting into what we get in these packages. So right away, just a real nice key. This is going to allow you to mount the optic. I personally will use a torque wrench, but you could use this. And it also has your adjustment wrench, which I like. Mounting hardware screws with blue Loctite already on them. A 1632 lithium-ion battery, which will be used to power the optic. Cleaning cloth, and the optic itself, which here you can see simply the optic. Now, my first comment, and this isn't a requirement, but my first comment is I really do like having a cover that goes over the optic, mostly from the standpoint that if something is shake awake, I like the idea of having the cover because that will help to minimize how much these actually turn on while my optic sits in the safe. And this here is the PN320, which is that RMR footprint. And Aimwin says that this is a shake-awake design. So, again, to my point, I do like having that cover. So while this is on my firearm, if it's not a home defense firearm and I'm going to be using this as more of a range gun or something like that, I definitely like having that cover just to minimize how much this turns on while it's in storage. Now, right away, you can see fully enclosed, which is fantastic. Sometimes optics like this are open on the bottom. That can be suspect to water intrusion, but the fact that this is fully enclosed is fantastic. 6061 aluminum with an IPX7 water resistance rating. As we take a look at the glass, you can see it's actually very clear. Almost zero tint. So if you look at the colors of the gray on the mat below, I am not seeing any tint whatsoever. And even at that, I am not seeing any sort of spherical distortion. It looks to be in a spherical design from what I can tell. Again, looking at this in a little more detail, you can see the gray of the background, and as I move the optic into place, maintaining that color nicely. Now, in the documentation that I have, I don't have any feedback at this time for what types of coatings they may be using, but clearly on the front, you can see it is a coated design. Has a bit of a hood over the front, which is nice. That will help to reduce glare, but it also makes the front a little bit aggressive. You can see everything just nicely shaped. The screw mounts, nice and clear, easy to get on. And the fact of the matter is, your battery mounting on the side, which is awesome for general maintenance. And the idea being that once you mount this onto your firearm, you don't necessarily have to take it off in order to change that battery. This does come with a hex key for the battery compartment. Just being a little bit nitpicky, and there might not be much they can do about it, but it would be nice if you could almost leverage the star bit from your main tool to remove that battery compartment. But clearly, these heads you can see are much smaller. So again, maybe not much they could do about it, but it is nice sometimes when you can minimize the number of tools you need to maintain your equipment. Very small screws here, so being careful. And popping out that tray, you can see this does already come with your 1632 lithium-ion battery. So the one that they provide is an additional spare, so we'll put that aside for now. I'll use that 12 months from now. Getting on the buttons on the side, your arrow up, arrow down. Short pressing the arrow up will turn the optic on. And taking a look down and through the optic, you can see the dot. Now again, a red dot. This is a 2 MOA dot, but we can make an adjustment here because this is a multi-reticle design. So here on the side, long pressing the down button, that will turn off the optic altogether. Again, single pressing. This is going to remember the last mode that we were on and the last brightness. So as I take a look here, pressing the down button, that's going to dim this down, 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 pretty much all the way to off. Single pressing in the up direction now. Brighter, brighter, brighter. A long press of the up arrow. Here you can see that is going to go to the 32 MOA circle. And you can see on the inside of the circle, this also has the dot. So 32 MOA circle with a 2 MOA dot. Another long press of the up arrow here. That is the 32 MOA circle alone. Another long press of the up arrow. Back to that 2 MOA dot. So pretty standard. This is what we've kind of come to understand from a lot of modern day optics and reflex style sights. So pretty standard, but you can see so far very effective. Now, so far from what I can tell, this is a fairly clear dot. I can see it very well. My eye does personally pick up green better than red in general, but the red is pretty standard, and I do pick this up very nicely. I do find that it's generally crisp, the circle is nice and round, and the dot does not tend to bloom. So far, good impressions of this optic. And here, the PN330. Now this again being the RMSC footprint, so more of that micro footprint, tiny little optic, but again, very nicely featured. Now this is going to be a little bit different in terms of the construction. Still IPX7 water resistance rating. However, you can see the bottom mounted battery. So unfortunately, this would require removal to change the battery from time to time. And you can see in this particular case, it uses the larger CR2032. With the battery mounted with the plus side facing down towards the firearm, or in other words, the negative side into the optic, and then pressing the up arrow on the side of the optic, turning this on. At this point, you can see the dot in there, and you're going to have your down arrow on the opposite side. So up and down. Again, the coated lens. You can see your mounting screws. Your windage and elevation adjustments pretty straightforward here. So your windage and elevation screws, very simple. Nice design. Does not have a hood. I kind of would like it if this had a bit of a hood. However, this is a very minimalistic design and maintains a very low profile, which is probably a good thing where this is typically going to be mounted on more of a carry weapon. And what I really like is the fact that this actually has a couple of rear sight posts built into it. For me personally, on my particular firearm, I do have to remove my rear sights. So having the posts on there is huge because that allows me to use my iron sights and at least have a little bit of a co-witness to my front sight. Now in this particular case, not only do we get the optic, but we also get our mounting hardware. And Aimwin going a little bit further this time, so you can see that the bags are actually labeled. Unfortunately, on the 320 version, the bags were not labeled, so I'll have to be a little bit careful there when I mount things up. But here, these are mounted with the appropriate threads, diameter, thread count, and whatnot, so that's definitely nice. You also get your tools. So slightly different tools here, but very similar in the same way with the 320, getting you all the mounting hardware and tools that you need. I'm also going to make the same statement where it would be nice to have a little bit of a cover here because this is a shake-awake system. Motion sensitivity for auto on, and in this particular case, we are looking at the A7075 T6 aluminum. So slightly more rugged aluminum on the PN330 versus the PN320. Very much the same in terms of the reticle on the inside. And as you can see, your 2 MOA dot with 32 MOA circle. Long press on the up button here. That will change it to the 32 MOA only circle. Long press here. The 2 MOA dot. Again, very crisp and nicely presented. And so even though today we're not getting into any field testing or mounting, again, a first look and impression. So far, these do seem to be very nicely featured, very well made. I like the overall construction and style, and I am definitely looking forward to getting these to some practical use. And so again, much more to come with these optics. The PN320 and PN330 from Aimwin, a good start and a great first impression. And so again, I would like to say thank you very much to the people at Aimwin who did provide these for review. Take a look in the description box below where you can find all of the relevant links to your own Aimwin products if you'd like to check them out. And if you like this content, do me a favor. Take a look at my Outer Limitless channel, which is more on my primary gear. On that channel, I cover everything from hiking, camping, and backpacking experiences, all the gear that goes with it. So from sleep systems, shelter systems, knives, axes, backpacks, flashlights, you name it. That's my Outer Limitless YouTube channel. So all right, guys, thanks for stopping by. I hope you like what you saw. I hope you found it a little bit informative. If you like what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Take care now. I'll see you soon.